Hey all, welcome to ShareTreck. It is Monday, the 25th of April. Really glad to see that many of you have been viewing the weekend specials, Friday and Saturday and Sunday. They were all good viewerships out there, so thanks for that. And I hope you liked it all. There'll be more coming up. And as always, for today's daily update video, we're going to have three parts. The first part is going to be news headlines and my opinions on what might move the markets today. The second is going to be technical analysis of Nasdaq, VIX, Bitcoin, and gold. And then the third part is going to be genomics. I'm recording it a bit late today, so we'll see the live market. So let's get started. So here are the headlines that caught my attention. Coca Cola earnings beat Wall Street estimates as revenue jumps 16%. That's a very good sign for the Dow index. And Macron has won France's presidential election. That was one of the risks that I had in my list of risks, geopolitical risks. So that has been mitigated. However, there is another risk that is cropping up, that is in the Chinese capital, Beijing. There's a likelihood that they may lock down because there are news reports of stealth COVID having spread into the city. And if Beijing does get into a lockdown, then that would have further implications on inflation. It will also have further implications on oil price. The oil price will drop further. So that can be good for the US economy in the sense that inflation pressures will cool down. It will also ease up a little bit for Europe. So that part of it is good, but the lockdown part is very uncomfortable, especially for EV and Apple and companies like that who are manufacturing a lot in China. Twitter, the big tech results will drive the direction of the market, and all big majors are reporting now very shortly: Apple, Microsoft, Google, Amazon. So we have to have a quick look at them and see where they stand. I will try to do a separate video for that if possible. Twitter is moving up with rumors of a potential deal with Elon Musk, and there are reports that as early as today there could be a deal announced. So we'll have to see what happens out there. So Twitter share prices have been moving up. One of the bad news we have here is Activision Blizzard Q1 sales miss as Call of Duty sees weak demand. It's not a great news to have. So let's hope for the best. The direction of the market is going to be determined by how the big tech companies report and what their outlook is going to be for the next quarter. So those things will drive. So if the big tech report great and have good outlook for next quarter, just like Coca Cola said that it's going to grow in the next quarter, as always. So they are very optimistic. If the big tech also reports great results, beats expectations and says that they're going to have a great quarter ahead, and oil price also falls because of the Beijing lockdown, there is likely to be a slight bump, not for all shares, but the shares which are dependent on Beijing for the supply chain, they may not get as much of a boost, but the shares which do not have anything to do with Beijing, those ones are likely to have a really good jump. So let's see. And as I mentioned in the weekend call, our indices are at a very, very critical tipping point. So if we have a slew of bad results, then we are likely to drop down significantly. We'll wait and see what happens. Let's go and have a look at Nasdaq and the other indices that we follow. Here we are with our indices. I'm going to start with futures today. The Nasdaq futures are indicating a drop of minus 0.45%. It's around 9:41 a.m. in the morning. This is the latest ever I have been doing this session. So we have the benefit of seeing a live market. Let's go on to the indicators. And when I go to the indicators, the first thing I want to see is US oil. As expected, US oil is dropping. And if there is a lockdown in Beijing, we may probably breach this support of 95.08. That's my expectation. There has been a huge drop already today in anticipation. So this particular candle out here, this long red candle, is the candle for today, for 25th of April. And if we go to look at the VIX, we'll see that VIX has spurted up and broken two barriers at once. Look at this long candle from yesterday, that is Friday. So I'm going to mark these two as supports. It's going to be difficult to come back down very quickly. So that's going to be a prolonged period of pain. And today we opened up much higher and we have come down. So that's a positive sign. But still we are at very elevated levels. Now, how high can this go? So let us try to plot out horizontal line of resistance. I think our next resistance is likely to be at 32.53, which is this red line out here. And we are going to see whether VIX hit that level. If it hits that level, we are going to see a lot of pain in Nasdaq and S&P 500. We have this MACD, which is absolutely bullish and moving away from the signal line, and momentum that is picking up sharply. All indicators to point that VIX is likely to go up rather than down. At least that's what it's saying right now. So as we always believe, when VIX goes up, Nasdaq goes down. Of course, VXN is the one that is directly linked. And let me see if this is today's candle. No, it's not. So I think we'll stick with VIX. VXN is much more closely allied to Nasdaq, but unfortunately, TradingView is not able to provide a live feed, so I don't have that. So we'll continue with VIX for the time being. And if I was to look at a put-call ratio, this has become absolutely bearish. There are a lot of puts out here, and we have gone to 1.30. So put-call ratio is also pointing to a bearish market. Now let us go to QQQ, and we can see that we have dropped below this diagonal line. Of course, the diagonal line meant nothing, mainly because of the fact that it didn't have 3 touch points. So we can let it go. I'm going to just zoom out here to show you what it looks like on QQQ. There is a steep drop available out here. If I took IXIC, which is a delayed Nasdaq feed, which is the equivalent of QQQ, we have today's candle, the 25th of April. This long red candle is today's candle. It has fallen below 1, 2, 3 lines of support. And our next support is at 12,560. We discussed this in our video on Friday and on Thursday, how there could be a big fall. So our next stop is likely to be 12,560. And we could fall further below that and go to 11,515 if the tech companies did not report good results, or they reported good results but predict a weak quarter ahead. Then we are likely to drop down further. Our MACD is bearish and moving away from the signal line, and momentum is dropping and it's below average. It's not boding well for IXIC. And the same thing is reflected in QQQ. If you see the shape of the diagram, it's almost identical because they're all the same underlying. So I have more resistance and support points plotted out on IXIC, so I just took this out here. We have this diagonal red line, diagonal green line. I'm just going to extend this a little more so that we can. So I think the support at 12,106 is going to be a very strong support if we were to continue coming down. But otherwise, we have a lot of bad news ahead. Everything depends on how the tech companies report. So having said that, let's go on and move to our crypto sector. In crypto, I'm looking at BTC, the one that we always look at. And as we can see, this green line of support earlier has been breached, and it's now becoming our resistance. So we touched it today in the morning, and we came back down again. And our next line of support, which is a very strong line of support, is this diagonal green line, which has been coming with us for a long time. That's our next line of support. And then below that, we have 28,993. So there is more pain ahead for Bitcoin, because it also closely moves with Nasdaq in the last so many months that we have seen. The trend is not yet established. It's my firm belief that Bitcoin, being what it is, it should move independently, and it should move up when inflation takes place. And when there is risk, it should be able to sustain itself. But we have not seen that happening. Hopefully, those characteristics will start building in maybe once this volatility related to COVID is over. Then we look at gold. Gold has come down, and it has fallen below this green line of support, between which it was always moving, between the red line of resistance and green of support. So this shows a new weakness in gold. And this is a contrary sign, because typically when gold goes down, we have Nasdaq going up and VIX going down. So we'll have to wait and see what happens in the market going forward today. Gold is looking bad. for the near future, because the MACD is also bearish and the momentum is below average and falling further. And we are having the support from the 100-day exponential moving average. So from a very healthy position, gold has come down here. So this could probably indicate that the reversal for Nasdaq is not too far. We'll have to look at how the market evolves. Nobody knows exactly what is going to happen. We are trying our best using the tools at our disposal from statistics and other areas in order to predict the most probable route. And it seems to me it's most probable that we are going to have a turnaround in Nasdaq in the very near future as gold starts going down. So having said that, let's go and look at our biotech shares. So here we have our genomic shares on the right side panel, sorted on the basis of the winners at the top. DNA is the top winner at 3.53% gain today. And I'm looking at the MACD, which is still bullish, but tending towards the signal line, and momentum, which is picking up, but below average. And we have got the earnings coming up on 1st of June. So there could be a sideways movement until we are closer to 1st of June. And then probably around the middle of May, it may pick up a little bit to show positive sentiments. Intelia is up 2.55%, and we have the earnings coming up on 3rd of May. The MACD is bearish, but moving towards the signal line. Momentum is absolutely weak and just about coming back into the civilization zone, entering the 30% on the RSI. At this point of time, our next resistance happens to be 56.47. I do not see much strength in Intelia today. But if the momentum continues to pick up, then we may have some kind of a move. Again, it depends on the overall market sentiment. Beam is up 1.23%, and we are still below this diagonal green line of support for the bear channel because we have not been able to break through it. I'm going to mark it as red for the time being to show that it's a resistance. And we pierced it in the morning, but we were pushed back down. And our MACD is bearish, but tending towards the signal line, and momentum is very, very weak, but picking up. We need to see whether the momentum can sustain. Unless the momentum sustains, we are going to lose more today. And given the fact that Nasdaq is negative, the only things that are probably pushing these stock prices up, as I discussed on the video during the weekend, is the probability that they may get some insight into the clinical trials that are happening for Beam. And the same would apply for CRISPR also. And we have, I think, 2 consecutive days of green. If we get one more, that's a very good sign of a bullish upward movement. Next, let's look at Verve, which is up 1.2%. MACD is weak and momentum is below average. So the next resistance for the Verve is going to be 18.20, which is the 9-day exponential moving average, this yellow line out here. I don't see us getting anywhere close to the yellow line today, but I would be happy if we can close above yesterday's open. That would be a good objective to have. Yesterday's open was somewhere near this level out here. That is 16.93. If we put another 22 cents today, I'll be happy. Bluebird is up 0.77%. Again, 9-day exponential average sitting at 4.21 is the next resistance. MACD is bearish and momentum is below average. I don't see much prospects for Bluebird to become positive today. It could probably end the day flat. Allogene is up 0.96%, and it's facing resistance with the 9-day exponential moving average sitting at 8.08. Right now we are at 7.88. So I think the limit for today's gain for Allogene potentially is going to be 8.08. ARCG is up 0.76, and we still have support at 36.91, which is this green line out here, 36.91. And it has been a horizontal line of support for a while. MACD is bearish. Momentum is also below average. So I would be glad if ARCG can hold on to a positive bias for the day. Caribou Biosciences is up 0.9%. 9-day exponential moving average at 8.06 is a resistance. And we are right now at 7.86. So any gains that I see can be capped at 8.06 for today. MACD is bearish, but tending towards the signal line. Momentum is below average and just about picking up. CRISPR is up 0.23%. CRISPR Therapeutics, that's a gain of 13 cents. Again, our 9-day exponential moving average sitting at 58.54 is a resistance, and a support is at 53.44. Our MACD is bearish but tending towards the signal line. Momentum is below average and slightly flat. So I think we are just going to consolidate during the day. And in any case, any of our jumps could probably not exceed somewhere around 57.38. 57.38 is the maximum I think we can go today if we continue the positive bias. I would be really happy if we can retain the current gains of 13 cents and close the day positive. IMTX is up 0.70%. MACD is bearish and moving away from the signal line. Momentum is below average but picking up. And we are still having very, very strong resistance out here with the confluence of 9-day and 20-day exponential moving average, which have merged at 38.34 and 38.37 respectively. So that's a very big resistance for this stock. And right now we are at 7.97 and the resistance is at 8.34 and 8.37. So maybe another $20, 20 cents is the maximum that this stock can gain. But all indication seems to show that we are probably going to lose most of the gains this morning and probably end slightly below where we ended yesterday. PSEB is up 0.44%. And we are having the 9-day exponential moving average as a resistance. MACD is bearish but tending towards the signal line. Momentum is very weak. So PSEB, I would be lucky if PSEB continue to stay flat or positive today. In most likelihood, it's going to end up negative. Novartis is up 0.41%, and we are still staying above the horizontal support line of 89.53. Right now, we are at 89.57. Given the fact that the MACD is moving away from the signal line and momentum is average, I think we are going to fall below the support line today and convert that into a resistance. So we are going to see less than 0.40 cents gain for Novartis by end of day. Editas is down minus 0.69%. We still have resistance at 15.37. So I'm going to mark it as resistance out here. And our MACD is bearish but moving towards the signal line. But momentum is below average and flat. So I don't see much gain for Editas today. Teladoc is down 0.86%. And that's a 50 cents drop. And we are below this diagonal line of resistance for the bear channel, the red line which has been following us for a long time if we zoom out all the way from 11th of February. So that's a very strong resistance for us. And we are soon going to meet a support at 54.58. It will be interesting to see whether we decide to break out above the diagonal resistance or we are going to fall down below this support and convert it into resistance. Right now, it seems to me that the MACD being bearish and momentum continuing to fall down and below average, there is more pain in store for Teladoc today. IBB is down minus 0.92%, and again below the diagonal line of resistance. And our MACD is bearish and momentum is also below average and falling. So overall, the IBB index is saying that biotech shares are going to have trouble today. There's widespread weakness in the biotech sector. And we go to Pfizer, which is down 1.37%, and our next support is at 45.52. MACD absolutely bearish, momentum going out of the civilization zone, trying to fall below 30. So when this kind of a thing happens, we have fallen all the way down to 22.20 on the momentum on RSI. And we could potentially go all the way down there, which means a further loss of maybe another 20 cents or something. And after that, there is likely to be a bounce back because we would have hit the absolute bottom, and there will be optimism. Risk-reward ratio gets skewed more towards reward and less towards risk. So we could see a turnaround out there probably tomorrow. So that's what I think. And we have the earnings coming up on 3rd of May. So there is potentially a little bit of strengthening in store tomorrow or day after. Regeneron is down minus 1.40%, and we have a 50-day exponential moving average, which was a support being breached. So now it has become a resistance. Our next support is the 100-day exponential moving average. So Regeneron is getting much weaker than I thought it should. So it's about time for it to pick up and start moving up. However, the MACD is absolutely weak and momentum is below average. We have earnings coming out on 4th of May 22. So Maybe I should make a video on Pfizer and Regeneron. Vertex is down 1.40. Earnings are due on 5th of May. And we have this 50-day exponential moving average, which is going to be our next support, along with the diagonal line, which had multiple touch points. So it's a valid support out here. So we are coming from our superior bull channel to the inferior bull channel. So now the superior bull channel becomes the support, becomes the resistance, and the inferior bull channel is ready to pick up the slack. And we have very strong support with the 50-day moving exponential moving average going in conjunction with the inferior bull channel support. I think today we are likely to lose a little more for Vertex, and I hope that we consolidate tomorrow. Illumina is down minus 2.62%, and we have fallen below 2 lines of support. I'm going to mark them both as resistance. And we are therefore going to look at the MACD, which is absolutely bearish, and momentum, which is falling off the charts. So Illumina is going to lose a little more today. We have earnings coming up on 5th of May. So probably we'll see some firming up in the next couple of days, or maybe there is some bad news in store. It's worth looking deeper into these shares, which I would probably do for maybe during the week if I get some time. I would like to bring this video session to an end at this point of time, and I hope you liked it. If you did, please do not hesitate to press the like out there so that our channel can be seen by other people. YouTube will broadcast it to a wider audience. That will be very helpful. And also, if you are not subscribed, please subscribe. Join our community and get everything crisper and a lot more, because I'll be talking about more shares and more indices and concepts. So that will be of interest to you. Thanks and have a great day. Bye for now.